Hey Virgo, and welcome to your monthly reading. For your monthly tarot reading, this is a collective reading for Virgo Sun or Virgo Rising. Boom. I love when that happens where it's like there's a crack and I go, that's the one. So we are taking a look at the month and the progression of this month. So the beginning, middle, and end of the month. So I know I've been incorporating astrology. I was on a trip the last part of May and just haven't had time to really come back and dive into the astrology. So I'm doing a separate short video for the first half of June for all of the astrology. So just know that that's coming out hopefully by June 1st or 2nd. I'm really hoping to have it out on June 1st. That's what I would like. So just know that that'll be coming out. All right, Virgo. What is happening for you in the beginning of the month? Okay, cool. And also I will be doing the semi-bi-weekly readings that I have that are moon-based. So they go full to new moon and then new to full moon because it's an approximate 2 weeks in between. So that will be out just a couple days after these are out as well. So lots of videos coming out. Make sure that you are subscribed. I'm feeling this one here. Make sure that you're subscribed and hit the notification bell. Did I just say that? I think I did. Sorry, you guys. I sometimes just get into a flow and I'm like, did I say that already? I don't know. Let's take a look at also what's coming up as a challenge for you. Ooh, I'm feeling this other deck. Just called out to me. We're gonna use this one for the shadow card for like what is coming up as a challenge this month. And obviously there are multiple challenges that come up in a month. We're more so looking at like what's something that's going to feel prominent or top of mind or very like on point. Okay, and let's get some spiritual advice as well. I don't know why I wanted to pull another card and it just like I looked over at the deck and it slid on its own. I was like, yep, okay. so you get two of those. Oh, that one jumped up. Did you see that? All right. I like it. Okay. So interesting to see the twos that are showing up here. All right. I want to make sure this is all in frame for you guys so that you can all see that. All right, Virgo. So because it's a collective reading, the way that we've been doing this is picking from an astrological deck that I have to kind of focus the theme in on either a particular area of life or a particular theme of life that this reading is speaking to. So that's how we're going to kind of focus this reading in, is based on this particular card here. I love the design of this card, but maybe that's because I love the 9th house in general. So 9th house, you know, has an association with Sagittarius, with Jupiter, and is like in one form of astrology at least. But this is definitely about expansion and exploration, foreign travel or foreign affairs or dealing with people that are out of country. Like, so maybe you have a business where you primarily deal with people in, I don't know, the UK and New Zealand and Australia, right? Or something like that. So just like more so thinking about like foreign, away from here. And if you live in the UK, I didn't even think about that, like in other areas, essentially just far away areas. And then this also has to do with education, right? This is also being the student and the teacher. So stepping into those roles, right? Expanding your mind and expanding the borders of your beliefs can have to do with beliefs as well. Whether those be religious or spiritual in nature, like whatever they are. So this, like, think about exploration and expansion in every possible way, with your mind, with like physically, expanding like business, expanding your social life, right? This could be expanding in a lot of different ways, right? So while it is centered around certain themes and it isn't specific to like, this is about your work life or this is about your relationship life, right? You can apply this to where you feel like it's, where it's applicable, right? And when I say foreign too, like let's say that you're in the United States and you're moving from like one side of the United States to the other, that would also be applicable. I only say that because I happen to know a Virgo who just moved from across several states. So, okay. That's what we're looking at here. Now, we start out the beginning of the month with the 2 of Wands, we move into the 9 of Cups, and we end it with the 3 of Swords, which I find really interesting. I think, you know, generally I find that if in this particular area a card shows up that's maybe a bit challenging, usually it has to do with the challenge cards themselves. Your spiritual advice being the Two of Laurels. I like it because it's grounded in a certain way, but definitely I'm seeing there is this thing with choice. Like there's something you're on the precipice of deciding, or there's something very up for you in terms of like this or that, or which pathway to pursue, which direction you're going into. And again, like moving that back to like talking about which direction, which path, right? And those are very much terms that we would utilize when we're talking about exploration or expanding or moving like physically, right? Things of that nature. So, you know, again, apply it to like how it feels applicable for you. This could be about business or anything else. So we have the Two of Wands, right? The Two of Wands is definitely about standing at the precipice with so many opportunities and possibilities and positions that are available in front of you, right? Knowing that you have a multitude of different ways that you could go, and that you are not limited to either this or that, one way or the other, right? Even though it's the Two of Wands, and it can usually be about like, am I making a decision about this way or that way? This is about looking out at like what you want to create, you know, standing at the precipice of like the edge of the world and seeing the whole universe beyond that and saying like, wow, I could literally go in any direction, any direction. And so the world being at your fingertips, all you have to do is decide, right? Is to be, you know, and I think to make that kind of clear decision, we need to be able to really tap into ourselves, be in alignment with ourselves, have presence, and be able to discern for ourselves between what we're thinking versus what we're feeling, right? Making sure they're on the same page, like what our heart says, what our thoughts are saying, all the different things. So I feel like that's very up for you at the beginning of this month. We come into the middle third of the month and we have the Nine of Cups showing up. So I feel like there is this kind of celebratory kind of feeling. You know, Nine of Cups is definitely enjoying life. Sometimes it can be about being too focused on the enjoyment of life and not enough on like, okay, I've achieved all that, but now it's time to go on and do more. But sometimes this is really, I don't think that's for everybody. I really don't. You know, the majority of the time, the Nine of Cups is really just about like, you know, you see all of her cups that are up here that feel like achievements, that feel like she's like come to these places that are celebratory. Like you can celebrate each and every one of these cups that she has, almost like trophies that are sitting there. And like, this is a time where you can really sit back, sip on your, you know, wine, eat some yummy food, kind of like, you know, arms folded behind your head, leaning back in a chair and go, man, life's good. Like I've done a good job. Look at where I'm at. Look at what I'm doing, or, you know, look how far I've come and I have the whole world in front of me. Right. And it's interesting because I think that there's something in your experience that definitely happens in this first part of the first two parts of this, you know, month layout, that before you get to the last third of the month, there is a like plot twist, because we have here the Three of Swords that's showing up. Now, I know it's not the most pleasant card to see if you've not, you know, been here for my previous readings in the past. You may not necessarily have heard me say this before, but it doesn't always mean like you see the Three of Cards and you hear the gasps, right? Like, oh no, right? It's not that it's comfortable. Of course it's not comfortable, but it doesn't always mean like heartache and heartbreak and breakups and all the things. It can. So I want to put that out there as like this, yes, it can be that, but it also just points to overall feeling like there's a loss of some kind, feeling disappointed, like really disappointed with something not going the way that you had wanted or the way that you had intended. And also just feeling like there's something to grieve, like there's something that is worth grieving that needed to be let go of. So again, like I don't have the intention to scare people when those come up. So I want to be realistic about this and say like, those cards can show up and point to something being disappointment. And that looks a lot of different ways, right? There's a gradient scale that we can look at that on. And also, can it be very literally that? Yes, it can. So it's just something to be aware of, something to kind of like bookmark and note for the end third of the month. It's going like, okay, something's happening between the middle third of the month and the end of the month, and I don't know exactly what that is, but there's something occurring that is, you know, going to warrant your attention in this way. Now, the challenge that we have coming up, I thought was really interesting when I saw the Three of Cups coming up in a challenge position, because normally it's such a celebratory and communal card. So I feel like there's something around community or the people or the friends that you're around, the tribe, right? Like tribe, community, social situations or groups that you're a part of, business groups that you're part of, like whatever it is, that don't feel like they're not quite, I don't want to say discordant, because maybe that is the word I'm looking for, but they don't quite feel that comfortable. Like it feels like maybe there might be some friction in the space with this, and it's not feeling like quite the right fit, you know, for what you're up to and what you're doing. And the second card I think is interesting that got pulled with that. That's the one that kind of like slipped off my deck right when I looked over at it, like literally just slid out. I was like, okay. So is the Eight of Pentacles, you know, and I think that having patience with this particular situation, whatever this is, like whether this has to do with, you know, work or, you know, being in like new communities or like moving away, literally. I was just thinking, like I said, of my friend who moved away, you know, and stepping into new communities, right? And this could very likely be about just needing to have patience for these things to like iron themselves out, to be worked out, for the wrinkles to be ironed out. Not to say that you just sit back and wait passively and just like allow, but more so just like understanding that it's going to probably take some patience to like for things to grow and shift and change within the dynamics of this whatever community or situation that you're in. If this has to do with work and you're working with a team, you know, just noticing that it's like anything. It takes time to, you know, figure each other out, to grow together in a way that feels more harmonious, to get on the same page, to find a flow with each other. So you might feel challenged by like wanting it to happen more quickly and just needing to have some patience about how that goes about happening, or having patience about the situation overall for whatever it is, you know. But it's like, let's say that it does have to do with like you working with a team of some sort, right? Like, okay, so, you know, it takes time to get on the same page, to have the same vision, and to be all like moving forward in unison, right? It just takes time, especially if it's a new group. The spiritual advice that we have coming through here is the Two of Laurels. And like I said, I like that there's some grounded energy that's coming through, although it's like, it's still coming back to this like decision making. So, and this balancing of different either aspects of your life or yourself and how you show up in these situations. So like, I feel like some of you know what this is pertaining to. Again, this is not like, the card didn't say like very specifically, like this is about, you know, work life or relationship life, right? So I think you have to like just kind of know for yourself what this is really with regard to. But yeah, this can be about looking at like, well, how do I balance these areas of my life? Like, how do I find homeostasis within new environments, or within my decision, you know, that I'm making between like work life and personal life and friend life and romantic life, and how all of those combine, right? So, you know, definitely the Two of Laurels, but it seeks balance to bring in grounding, right? I feel like the Two of Laurels is definitely about bringing in a sense of clarity and groundedness. Like it might feel like a little bit like juggling and confusing, but sometimes like it was so interesting. I heard something today that reminded me, I don't know the exact quote, but just this concept that, you know, inside of our confusion, like our getting lost helps us to find ourselves, or like inside of our confusion we find clarity. And not because the confusion just naturally gives way to clarity, but because inside of the deciding or the lack of clarity, we're motivated to have clarity and therefore seek out ways to get that clarity. And so, you know, so there is that like being kind of prodded to make these decisions, to find that sense of balance and grounding between the different worlds that you're considering, or the different paths that you're considering. So I hope that this feels like it was clarifying and helpful in some way. Maybe I feel like for some of you, this is going to be like pieces of a puzzle for some reason that were needed. So yeah, so hopefully this was helpful. If it was helpful, please consider giving the video a like. It helps my channel as I am building it. And also if you want to be up on all of the videos coming out for like more astrology stuff and like like the bi-weekly readings and things where we look at like smaller increments of time for the month, definitely make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification bell. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Bye!